Let me welcome you in the name of Ecocivilisation to all of you who are also following us through social media, and of course to those that are with us already now here. It's an exciting moment because it actually brings us to the end of one long process, more than a year, where we were exploring from all over the world the magic of the circular economy evolution. And that's why I find it really exciting to hear how this evolution continues to evolve. So before I go into my part of the presentation, I would like to invite Rajni, who is the driving force behind all this Ecocivilisation in action period, to say a few words as well.
Thank you so much, Violeta, and thank you so much, Natasha, for reading out the house rules. And we welcome you all to today's webinar, Weaving the Circular Ideas Together, which is being brought to you by Ecocivilisation in Action. My name is Rajni Vora, and of course, I'm being joined by an illustrious leader who is also founder and curator of Ecocivilisation, Honorable former Deputy Prime Minister of Slovenia and EU Transport Commissioner, Violeta Bulc, and my co-host, Natasha. This webinar is an endeavor to expedite the circular economy movement by sharing some inspiring stories, how businesses can make the circular economy a reality, because the consequences of linear economy are now too profound to ignore, actually. So we have with us 4 circular economy professionals who have turned their awareness into action and their passion into a profession, with their innovative ideas to address circular economy challenges in a meaningful way. Also, their stories are part of our publication, Circular Ecocivilisation in Action, Best Case Practices, which is part of a circular economy series, Ecocivilisation series, stories from all over the world, a beautiful compilation of 11 inspiring stories from different parts of the globe. Thus, this webinar is certainly an opportunity for all our viewers to listen to their stories and to interact with our speakers. And on that note, let me invite Violeta Bulc to set the tone for the event and to begin it with some of the introduction and the book best practices.
Thank you very much, Rajni. It's really a great pleasure to do so. The title tells a lot, weaving the circular ideas together. And as I said, it's been a very dynamic journey. And let's see, where are we at this point? So first, maybe just one very quick words about Ecocivilisation movement itself. We do believe that we have to reimagine our future, that we need to dream first before we can act. And somehow we feel that there is a new possible shared destination emerging. This might be even a ticket for our existence, but not only that, I really personally feel that this could be an incredible, fruitful field for our capacities to thrive. And there is no prescription of that. We call it Ecocivilisation today, but we all believe, those who are joining already in this circle, that this is an emergence of new things, of new ideas, and we're constantly readjusting them based on the capacity of the collective knowledge that is coming and is ready to be shared. So I do believe we are also in some sort of context shift. And more we are getting aware that in order for us to collectively be able to readjust to the emerging new conditions on this planet Earth, we do need to create spaces within which we can engage and co-create. And these spaces, we're welcoming the feeling of safety in these spaces. I worked for a long time as a professional to building innovation ecosystems, and we proved throughout the 15 years of practice that yes, people do innovate under a big pressure, but by far more sustainable innovations are born in the safe spaces where we feel safe and we really create with the full capacity of our being. And that's kind of brought us to the challenge of sustainable development and things that we are invited to do in order to collectively move forward into something that we can call a thrivable planet. And more we observe the emergence of new concepts, more we see that we have to be very careful that we don't jump and push only one concept further, but we are constantly searching for a systemic point of view, for a wholeness, for a holistic approach, for a holistic solution. And more I'm observing what is really promising and emerging today, I can see that circular economy is coming forward as one of an important legs, really important ones. But more you dive deeply into the circular economy, you see that it doesn't have, the concept itself doesn't have answers for everything. We will hear a lot today, and I'm so proud that we actually have a book which captured these incredible stories that are popping up all over the world. But at the same time, I'm inviting you to even seek connection and seek the points of collaboration with strong regenerative development movements that are all around the world, asking us to not only circulate, but also regenerate, especially soil and conditions around us in order to sustain. But there is also the third important message which is picking up well on a global scale, is that we as civilizations can no longer live in the endless growth economy. And that's where donut boundaries and donut modeling is inviting us into, that we do understand that planet Earth has a limited capacities and that we need to take this as one of the elements of the equation into consideration and really work with them. So many times work backwards more than just forwards. And I do see that in this triangular sort of content richness, we can find even a better solution, more systemic ones. But I know that in order to deal with them, we need to know all of them well. And today we're here to dive even deeper in circular economy. Oops, what is this? Sorry. Something happened. Probably
no problem.
It was an active mode, and it was
no problem. Yeah.
So
you're back on this. Yeah.
Yes, what I'm trying to now bring the attention to, and I think that's the essence of today's stories here, is that we've learned that the real changes happen in the hidden social clusters. And that these are really the core tipping points where the changes happen in the future. And for a long time, they're so-called hidden. But when the density grows, all of a sudden, these are the points where transformation happens. And I do believe that today's stories where those are those hidden social clusters emerging, bringing us a fresh look at how we can get organized, how we can get better in our actions in order to improve the sustainability, but especially to get closer to the natural laws and the natural behavior of planet Earth. So, and I'm inviting everyone to really keep telling ourselves all the time that there is no nature in us. We are part of nature, and to recognize the brothers and sisters and who we pretty much share the same genetic code, and the differences in few percentages, that there is an enormous opportunity that we learn from them and we find a way of coexistence in the future, better coexistence in the future, instead of just exploitation relationship that so far this relationship is based on. And with that kind of message in mind, just a little focus on the book and on the stories that are in the book. You know that the book is in a free circulation. It's our contribution to the global awareness, and because we do believe that when we share knowledge, we share experiences and wisdoms, that's the moment where we collectively can do good, not only for ourselves, but for the society as a whole as well. And the other driver behind it was, especially from the point of view of the eco-civilization movement, is that we are looking for new ways forward also in the area of business modeling and future economical relationships. And we continue to dive into this, and more we exchange good practices, more we learn together, faster we will be able to see beyond what we are trapped today. How we go about as many meetings and sessions and dialogues, and hopefully more and more actions in the future. So eco-civilization movement has been now around officially for 2.5 years. In spring will be 3 years. And we see that this concentration of collaborative networks, not only within the movement, but especially outside, and I'm happy to see several people that are part of this partnership networks today with us. That's where we are accumulating capacity to actually go into action as well, which we're also eager to do. And today's stories are a perfect example, and hopefully we'll learn from them how we can do that better together as well. Along the way, what we're trying to make sure that we capture different concepts, different business models, ways of implementation, different technologies, and of course, also the real life stories related to these emerging new concepts. And the more we become aware of them, easier for us will be to readjust, to be prepared for new conditions, and to feel more safe and comfortable in them, and fully then create from our own points of view. Last but not least, allow me also that I use this opportunity and invite you all that you join us next year as well, in which we call the Year of Water. It's going to be a whole new adventure where circular economy will be present at the back all the time as well. But we are focusing, the program is already done. We are focusing on different topics related to water, because we are realizing that it's been the topics that are so important to our actually basic existence on planet Earth are often hidden in dark corners, and only selected groups of people are addressing them. So we try to bring them forward as something that every person should be discussing, thinking about, and of course to jointly then acting. So I hope that it's going to be as exciting as this one, and that in about a year and so we will be gathering together for a new book, for the new great stories and a new motivations for further collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Violeta, for beginning the event with such insightful message. And without further ado, let me introduce our first panelist, first speaker of the day, Michelle Glohi from Luxembourg, who is founder and CEO of Tada Language Productions, and a dedicated educator, lover of learning, and fascinated by all things language and culture related. Her EdTech startup works around the clock to bring languages and cultures to even youngest learners in age-appropriate ways, starting with touch paper tech. We welcome you wholeheartedly, Michelle, and over to you.
Thank you so much, ladies. It really is an honor. I wrote down some things that really struck me: thriving, safety, collectivity, more than one concept, and real books. It's right up my alley, because we are all about our first stage is talking books like these. We bring, so beautifully said by Rajni, as all things she does, language and culture to our children. And the circular economy is something that is definitely considered in everything that we do. Our books are designed, talking books are designed to be used and passed down for reuse. We want these books to stick around, and I want them to be treasured for more than one lifetime. The quality and the longevity of all of our products are central research and design focal points for us, for my entire team. We carefully examine all the materials. We consider their impact. I can tell you already, we use forest-friendly paper, of course. We work with companies also who share our values. And soy ink, for example, is an example that we really spent a lot of time researching. It's not possible at this time for us, since we advocate so much touching. Our books are meant to respond like an iPad, like a tablet, but no screen. It's real paper. And there is so much touching. It's just not possible at this stage, but we continue to work on making that the first possibility. Our talking books, these are battery powered. And for us, that means you don't need electricity. We're actually working a campaign to educate our consumers on battery usage. For example, we don't want them throwing away these books, which I happen to know that a lot of people do. When the battery runs out, they think it's done. We already have on our website, 𝐀𝐥𝐢𝐬𝐚, we show people how to replace the batteries. We have a lot of videos on that by some Grammy winners to pique their attention even more. We've recently initiated a seed round to be able to grow and further enhance and elevate the capabilities of these products beyond the wow that we think they are. For example, solar charging batteries in lieu of the traditional kind. I can tell you that having been a teacher in places where they don't have electricity or the means to have batteries like Ethiopia, where I was a teacher, I'm very excited about what this means in my mind, being able to have the sun or even the lights in an office charge your book. These are platforms, so there can be a lot of knowledge that is brought to these kids who more and more are needing English, for example, to thrive and grow. I love the word thrive. Would you like me to talk about how TEDA came to be, or do you have particular questions, Rajni?
Rajni, you're muted. Rajni, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So Michelle, we would definitely love to know, of course, our viewers would also be interested in knowing the relation of circular economy and how you integrate TADA, your organization and your product design with circular economy. I think it would be great to focus on it. That would be really helpful for our viewers and for us to understand it's the role of circular economy with your product and organization. Thank you.
Right. So we believe all of these things are so important, as I've mentioned, battery usage, solar batteries, forest-friendly paper. We believe that it's so important. We must find ways to coexist with our planet, but we also have so much work to do to coexist with one another. I personally have taught English as a second language and French on 4 continents now over the last 3 decades. And actually, like the staggering, it's 1 in 5 couples in the United States are married to someone from a different ethnicity than their own. I was surprised to learn I was a teacher in South Korea when I was younger, and now 1 in 10 couples in South Korea are in mixed ethnic marriages as well. So this means that we have more and more families where the mom and the dad don't speak the same language as their children. And this is the case with mine. I don't speak one of the languages my husband speaks. He has many. And like most families who value education and success in life, books are paramount in our household. But I can tell you from personal and my family's all over the world, books mean virtually nothing if you don't speak the language of the book. So many times as I cuddle with my little guy, he's 8 now, he still loves books, I think because we started when he was a baby. As soon as he was born, I was holding him and reading. A daddy book would creep into our pile that he would choose for us. And of course, I couldn't say the words correctly. And I just wanted them to, I wanted a native speaker to magically do the reading part for me. I wanted to be able to touch it. And this is how TEDA came to be, our first step. So we started with smart paper talking books. And what they do is they bring together the best of physical and the technological to bring real native speaking language teachers, if you will. They include kids from all over the world with our partners. And we also teach their cultures. We're not afraid. We're not shying away from that. This way they have access and they can learn no matter what their guardians or their teachers might speak. And they look just like normal books, which we love, real paper, but they're anything but. It's real important to me as a mom and as a teacher. It needs to be kid fun. We have real ambient, all kinds of humor, funny sounds, real sounds of the world, sounds they might not know because sounds are cultural as well. Beautiful art. In fact, this artist just won an Oscar from this series for a film that advocates diversity, actually. And there's original music in our books. Some of it, we have different series, but in these, for example, by Grammy winners, including Yo-Yo Ma's producer, he produced these. And integrated gaming. We don't forget culture. It's just so important for me to stress that. I think it's so important when you learn language to expose that to our kids. These books are tactile and they touch more senses than anything I've come across. They're not on a screen, which again, we know our youngest are getting way too much of, and younger, the better it is for language learning. So we need to stop making things so hard, facilitate in this busy world we're in. Our mission at TEDA is to help kids grow up from birth, just like me with my baby and my books, seeing and hearing, savoring the beauty of diversity, so we can reduce our fear and increase our connection to one another. I really feel, I mean, I read this in the US Congress. This is something that you can Google and see that they were talking about, that it's a security measure that we need to start learning about one another. I mean, this world, the times that we're in, I think it's understated. But children's language and cultural learning, it's the ultimate 21st century skill. I think both personally, socially, and again, at a global scale for diplomacy and world peacekeeping. And so those who do not possess this skill are definitely going to be left behind, and it's dangerous. So I want to be a part of that solution, not just for people, but again, for the circular economy, doing the right thing. It can be done. We can have success with our corporations and make real impact. And I personally feel that the best way to do that and have real change is to start with our kids. So I'm really so touched and honored to be a part of this with all of you. And I can't wait to hear more from you. So thanks for having me. Ta-da! Here we are.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing such a lovely story of your startup. And I guess if I'm not wrong, of late, you have been seeking and making endeavors to seek funding and some financial help also to expedite and promote your startup. So we wish you all the very best for all your endeavors and for your product. And definitely, I know that you have been in past, you know about Peter also, of course, due to some reasons, Peter couldn't join today. But people like you and Peter, you guys are doing great job and, making education totally paperless. And it's really great contribution towards circular economy. Thank you so much, Michelle. We request you to stay till the end of the program, if it is possible for you. Yeah, thank you so much, because we have many more stories to share with you. Many more stories are coming up. Yeah.
Thank you.
So moving on to invite our next speaker from India, Mr. Anand Kaudia, who is Director, Technology and Innovation, Pravin Masalewale, a well-known spice company in India, founder of non-profit making organization named the Eco Factory Foundation, which works relentlessly on sustainability in rural, urban, and industrial areas, taking steps towards cleaner, greener, healthier, sustainable, and prosperous India. His pioneering work on organic natural farming, waste management, and sustainability has been remarkable. The floor is all yours, Anand.
Oh, thank you so much, everyone from Ecocivilisation. Hope I'm audible, first of all.
Yes, Anand, you are audible.
Great,
yeah.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me, and looking forward to learn more than really share what I do. But traditionally, we've been into family-run spices and Indian food manufacturing business. I look into the technical parts of it and the manufacturing part. And the idea to work closely with nature actually came out of a guilt I always had, that as a manufacturing sector, we produce a lot of waste in form of biodegradable material, which we generate from cleaning the spices, or packaging material waste, which we generate in the process. And we were absolutely clueless that what we are supposed to do. We would somewhere either dump it or burn it somewhere, or just dispose it in social premises. But in 2014-15, some point of time, I decided that this is not a way forward for an industry or a company which is socially, environmentally responsible manufacturing company. And we decided to go completely waste-free by that point of time. Quickly, I'm showing the way the pack and the box looks like of our product. This is a brand we make. We make more than 200 Indian traditional food products, and we export them globally and also work in domestic markets. The idea of making our own foundation manufacturing sector company waste-free, there was a lot of interaction and studies we did with individuals, institutes, NGOs in India and outside India. And we got to learn a lot of things which were very much useful for us. And we kind of brought those ideas in our own ecosystem. But there were a lot of things which were not directly useful for us, but were very useful for people at large. And that's how the birth of Eco Factory Foundation has actually taken place. I'll quickly take you through a small PPT, which will showcase you how the entire idea of going waste free actually then moved to a deeper down into circular economy and circular way of looking at things at large. So for last more than 8 years now, we have been focusing on this. Probably when we started working, circular economy was not even a concept as such. But as a keen learner and person always inclined in farming, I have also been exploring permaculture. I hope my screen is visible. Once you agree to this, I will move ahead. Is my screen visible?
It's good, yeah? Just put it in presentation mode and it's fine.
I am doing that. Yeah. Now I'll do
bottom right.
PPT.
Bottom right, beside the slider. No, left, a little left.
Yeah,
Here,
yeah.
yes, perfect.
Yeah. Right. So what the foundation is actually doing, this is from where I have taken inspiration to work. My grandfather and grandmother who started our group, Pravin Masalewale. These are the appeals. I quickly want to take you through the appeals my foundation have to achieve waste to wealth and waste to health. Our nation's health lies in the health of our soil. Journey from an oil-based economy to soil-based economy. Replace linear economy with circular economy. Food can be grown almost anywhere. Let food be your medicine and let medicine be your food. Farm to fork and fork back to farm approach. And make honeybees and earthworms national insects of India. Green revolution to evergreen revolution. And ecological is logical and eco-friendly. So these are the core appeals foundation have, and we are focusing largely on these so far. This is the area of work of my foundation. We have, so when we started working on Suhana's and our company's sustainable approach, we realized there is a lot to do. And then we came up, initially we just started only work around waste management. But after that, we started working on urban sustainability separately, rural sustainability separately, and industrial sustainability separately, because each ecosystem have its own different problems and solutions. And I think if the right solutions and connection of dot is not done, we will find limited resources to share. But if we connect the right dots with elements in nature, I think a lot of abundance we can see which is in nature can be harnessed by us and still bring a lot of prosperity for planet and people all together. And this is where the name has coined the Eco Factory Foundation. This entire ecology works like a factory. A waste of one process is a raw material for another process. the way forest ecosystem works at large in a perfect circular manner. We also do a lot of knowledge sharing sessions, webinars, etc. And we have a sort of publications. To me personally, sustainability is a combination of environmental value, social value, and economic value. And then all together, we can see that there is a sustainable value which can weave in all the three aspects of ecosystem. So what we are doing for rural India, mainly we have created Sustainable Farming and Rural Entrepreneurship Center. Now, in this, we are helping farmers and rural population in India to work on rural waste management, teach them, share them lot of sustainable, natural, organic farming methods which are available and practiced all over the world, like permaculture, or in India there is zero budget farming systems, or Vedic farming, or there are multiple such evolved processes and practices done globally, which we are teaching, which will make sure the expenses of the farmers are reduced and profitability in increased. Now, in also a farm ecosystem, how circularity can be built. So there are a lot of wastes which are produced in the farm, or excessive vegetables. Many times farmers don't understand what to do. So we have introduced small capital based processing tools and techniques for them, where the waste can be converted to some sort of a wealth, including some interesting products we have done. Lot of cows and animals are there in Indian farm ecosystem, and we have actually converted all the cow dung and cow urine into multiple products, and the products are actually packed in plastic free bags which are sold. My video, I don't know how I'm seeing, but I'm trying to also, yeah, these are actually different lamps made with cow dung, 100% cow dung in process. So the waste or a non-useful material on the farm is now created with more value added material, or a pot made with cow dung here. Like that, all the waste material in the farm is converted to some sort of a value added process. All the garden waste also, which is generated, or farm waste, is also converted with a very simple technology of briquetting to charcoals. And that material is also used in the farms, and they can actually sell those charcoals in rural communities. So a lot of value generation from waste is done. Good quality food is produced by nurturing the soil in a correct way, and linkage of the farmers to the market, what we are doing in the rural economy. Same way, we got a lot of good response from farmers. It's a one-day training we do. Then we decided to make this mobile center. And now the mobile center travels all over India and trains farmers in different villages on sustainable farming and rural entrepreneurship. My vision for farmers is they should not be only farmers, but they should become agropreneurs at large. This is our vision for urban India. Now, in urban India, as we started working on waste, there is plastic waste, there is metal waste, there is waste which is generated biodegradable waste. Everywhere we first did auditing and kind of analysis that how much, which month waste is produced by our manufacturing sector. And for each and every waste we produce, season wise, month wise, we had a mapping done completely, that how that waste will be used or converted to some sort of a wealth. So at large, we produce a lot of biodegradable waste at our farm level. I'm just showcasing you one example. We process a lot of ginger garlic, and all the peels of ginger and garlic we convert now to papers. And these are papers made from ginger and garlic waste, and the papers are printable and writable. We don't need to cut trees to make these papers, but they are made from waste in the factory. Or we are making pallets, small pallets from factory biodegradable waste in a palletizer, which is very small and efficient. So even a small industry, a medium scale industry also can adopt such ideas. And we are replacing our fossil fuel source with these sort of fuel sources. We are also having a biogas generation, because we have a lot of kitchen waste or farm waste which will go and produce biogas, and all the LPG from the manufacturing sector is now replaced with the biogas for frying or cooking systems which we do. Plastics definitely was a difficult one to manage, but now we are working with recyclers to create these recycled plastic tiles which are made by recycling our packaging materials, and a lot of other products like pallets and dustbins and many things from recycled plastic are made, and they are used in our ecosystem at large. For metals, actually we do have an organized system of metal recyclers, but lot of metal is also converted to furniture items and many other different creative things where metal recycling or upcycling is done. So in every waste management or every in the entire circular approach, what we have tried to do is achieve a perfect circular movement from waste to wealth by recycling, upcycling, refurbishing, etc. So we created waste, and out of this, lot of solutions which we found were not exactly useful for us. But then we created India's first waste management park, where we are helping more than 30 eco-entrepreneurs right now, and all the solutions they offer, right from a small house, 1-bedroom house, to a bungalow or bigger society or an industry, and all are at display at our waste management park at near our city called Pune. And soon we are going to make the waste management park and learning center mobile. So we are helping people to create awareness on segregation of the waste, and which all agencies can do recycling. So we are empowering more on that, and how this whole circular economy concept can be implemented in urban areas. We are converting a lot of barren lands to urban urban farms. These are the urban farms getting created. More than 20 urban farms we have created in our city now, where all the waste from the household generated is 100% recycled in the same premises, and the plastic or metal or glass waste is going to an appropriate recycler, so which will not cause any pollution. We do plant donation drives. This year we have done 100,000 plant donation, native Indian trees donation. Next year our target is 200,000 native tree donation, and we also control on how the plantation will be taken care on the long run. This is an eco mall concept we try to create. So a lot of eco entrepreneurs are actually struggling to survive. There is a difficulty for eco entrepreneurs to survive. And my vision is how I can help eco entrepreneurs by connecting them to markets, how I can help organic farmers by creating and connecting them to bigger market. I'm happy to share in last 6 years, we are able to connect 1,000 urban families to eco-entrepreneurs and farmers in India, in my city, and trying to bridge the gap of producer or creator to actual consumer and bring sustainability in their own ecosystem. We help people who are making recycled paper pencils. We are helping people who are making different idols with eco-friendly material. We are helping people who are making recycled for small furniture items to sell, etc. We are also created this starter kit, which is a plastic-free life starter kit, where a lot of primary good options are offered to a consumer to move away from plastic wherever avoidable, because plastic is something which is very difficult to recycle, and more reduction in usage of plastic if possible, we can attain a lot more sustainable future. So this kit is becoming a very big success point, that a plastic-free life starter kit is offered to consumers here. And now this year, more than 500 kits were offered to Pune citizens. This is now very important. I'm coming to is an industrial sustainability, because largely, if you really see, the lot of pollution is created by industries, including mine, to be very frank. And that's where the shift was actually in the mind, and then slowly into the action. And what all I see is this whole ecosystem is not limited. If we connect the dots and get nature to work with us, the potential of resources suddenly become in abundance. More than 4,000 metric tons of biodegradable waste we produce in 9 factories of ours. And all the material is now getting recycled, composted, or used to make the soil healthy. Here, I'll quickly take you through one of my first greenfield projects. It is a warehouse, industrial warehouse, storing finished products, ambient temperature, no air conditioning use at all in this. It is cool throughout the year. India, you know that 40 degrees Celsius we will see in the summers. Now, what we have done is, instead of using any air conditioning, we have used this low power driven bigger giant fans inside the facility and reduced a lot of our power usage. You can also see a solar installation on the parking roof, and all the power used is solar power for this warehouse inside. Then you can see here, in recycling and upcycling, lot of furniture is from recycled drums and utensils from our manufacturing unit. Recycling of plastic in-house, we have one, it is called a plastic to oil making plant, where it is treated under high pressure, and plastic can be converted to fuel oil, which can be used as a fuel. So a lot of recycling of some good quality plastic happens in that plant, plastic to oil plant. Then we have rainwater harvesting, because water circularity is very important too. And this facility, I'm happy to share, is a net zero water footprint. All the gray water which is coming out from the toilets and bathrooms, which is used, almost every day we are saving 1,000 liters through a simple root zone treatment plant, and the water is then used for farming. You can see all the area around my premises is barren land, but this land, you can see how much greening we could do with help of this gray recycled water. A great success story to tell you on this is, we are able to make our underground water live again. We had no underground water sources for our bore. After 7 years of water harvesting, now in COVID year, first lockdown, the water has got recharged, and now we have 12 months water on the sites. We have created good biodiversity and organic farming there. All the waste which is used is making soil healthy. So the farm produce coming is very good, healthy quality. And that's why I call waste to wealth and waste to health also we are achieving. The biogas plant I spoke about is working to generate biogas. So this is how a green principle we are trying to use: green energy, water recycling, waste recycling, as much as we can do, and also a training center for people to come and learn. So this is becoming an in a way a facility in excellence for a lot of other industries to come and learn green practices. This is IGBC platinum rated green building. So what my point I want to say, in space of manufacturing, if we do the right mapping, we can achieve sustainability. This is how we were earlier, as Violeta told in her session, and Rajni also said, there is no way forward for linear ecosystem to work on. We were non-eco-friendly, we were no wealth creation from waste, and we were not sustainable earlier. But now this is how we work. All the industrial waste is recycled, including e-waste, metal waste, plastic waste, biodegradable waste, and farm waste is also recycled. And now we are more sustainable. We are creating more wealth in between, and we are a lot more eco-friendly in our approach. I don't say we want to stop here. There is a lot to do, lot to go move forward with, but we'll continue the research and more deeper circular approach in our work. So far, we have supported 15,000 plus farmers, 10,000 plus Pune citizens from urban areas, more than 32 eco-entrepreneurs we are helping now, 3 eco-malls we have created to support them, more than 10 metric ton the smoke-free charcoal from biodegradable waste we have produced, More than 300-acre area is converted into organic farming, which is consuming waste every day, and soil is becoming healthy, absorbing a lot of carbon, fixing a lot of carbon in the soil. More than 3,000 metric ton plus bio waste we process every year. 30 value-added products from cow dung we have made and which are sold in the market. More than saplings I spoke to you about, and more than 15 plus projects we are associated with Rotary International or many other bigger groups in India to work on. These are our publications. This will be launched very soon and contains more than 250 green practitioners, waste management agencies, companies in India. Also, an app will be created which will be used nationwide free of cost for people to adopt ideology of circular economy and waste management. These are webinars we have conducted so far. And these are the sustainable development goals of United Nations, which we are adhering to and working on right now. Thank you so much, everyone. And I request all to join hands with us to make India cleaner, greener, healthier, sustainable, and prosperous, and make our planet also cleaner, greener, and healthier, and sustainable, and prosperous. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. Really pleasure talking here with these great audiences and sharing my small case study. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anand, for such a comprehensive, profound presentation, very insightful presentation, in fact. And we could clearly see in your presentation the approaches of circular economy, that is reuse, reduce, and refurbishing. These are three words that you have practically applied also, and you have used a lot in your presentation also while explaining it. And we all know that the path of circular economy is not easy unless you get support from agencies or government. And there are multiple challenges on that way. What would you like to say in that regard, in your case?
Yeah, I'm excited actually after listening to all the talks in COP27 happened and the green finance concept getting evolved and matured year by year. I really pray and wish that all the geopolitical situations are at peace and we really work on a better planet at large. Yes, in Indian manufacturing sector, I would definitely say that SMEs and MSMEs play vital and larger role, or a large population in rural area play a vital role if we empower them by some ways and means of finance and support, and also very easy and a convenient way we explain the concept of circular economy, which to me is not difficult. I take my inspiration from ecosystem, the best ecosystem called forest. And if everyone takes a simple way and means and applies science and creativity together, I think a lot of solutions we can bring on board for each and every industry we are going through. And if there is vision and passion, I think we really can achieve sustainability in any part of world for sure. I think it just needs an intent to do better for planet, to do better for our own ecosystem and our own people on the planet. I think we can achieve it. That's what I feel.
Certainly,
and as I said, hurdle could be finance, but COP27 excites me more. And I hope the green finance really gets activated for developing nations. And definitely it will help many smaller industries to adopt this concept.
Thank you so much, Anand. I have one more question for you, but that I'll ask post two more presentation that we have yet to have. So please wait. And in the end, I'll be asking you that question. So please stay with us. And now it's time to invite our third panelist, David Clever, who founded the VR media company, sea-focused marine conservation project Reef, VR and consumer information app Recycle Me. After getting his start with climate modeling and computer graphics at National Center for Atmospheric Research and NASA, he spent 30 years designing, developing, and managing technology projects, established consulting practices, and worked with major corporate clients. Over to you, David.
Great, thank you so much. It's a real honor to be here with all the distinguished panelists, as well as Ecocivilisation. It's a great talk, and Really appreciate hearing what's been going on. David, founder of.
Am I exited? Wait. Am I causing the?
Okay, am I up, Sharon? Yeah, great. Okay, thanks. So yeah, it's wonderful to hear. As an international couple myself, I wonder, Michelle, whether I'd go for Europeans, multi-ethnic, with Americans. We actually moved to Europe so that my toddler could learn Greek, which I don't speak. So if we had your books in Thailand, maybe we would have stayed there and she could learn, because it is a great thing. And it's great to see what you're doing with the full life cycle recycling stuff and really a holistic approach on a business level. Because we're developing a mobile app to empower consumers with the knowledge to dispose of waste properly and learn about the circular plastic economy. But we've been hearing great things today about circular economy, is a term that is so often used to describe materials reuse more than any business or economic changes. So I'm really glad to hear circular business models. But let me start with a little humor. Because my sense of what the status quo of the linear economy is consumer spending funneling straight to Jeff Bezos' yacht, and the ultra wealthy get to sail into the sunset. But I want to talk about the plastic circularity, where materials reuse scenarios facilitating the proper disposal of plastic waste and the plastic value chain, achieving a system where each step can profits all the people involved. But I get ahead of myself. I'd like to start with a little video that shows you what Recycle.me is doing. So that's just a little bit about our overall thing, and coming back to the plastic problem, where in stores and later at home, I ask myself, what is this stuff? What do I do with it? Can it be recycled? Especially strange things like these styrofoam stuff that they seem to wrap all the fruit and vegetable in Thailand, as well as all the plastic containers in various types that come from the stores. And this is what really encouraged me to develop Recycle.me, to collect knowledge of what the packaging is and where to dispose of it. The challenges are that there are few alternatives to plastic packaging in the shops, the lack of knowledge about how to proper disposal, the little information on the packaging, and with hard to read and confusing labels. Have you ever tried to read the little triangle in the bottom of these things? Impossible. There's so few know where to take the various types of plastics, and mixing plastics reduces recycling rates, causing it to be leaked into the environment often because the waste handlers don't know who to process certain types of plastics, and the waste just gets dumped again. So Thailand, as in most places, have critical problems with waste management infrastructure. In Asia, this is somewhat exposed as we see the waste pickers in the street going through the bins and the municipal garbage trucks often parking in the alley, pulling out the trash and high value plastic bottles to resell, and then tossing the rest back in and where it gets leaving valuable waste heading to the landfill, or worse, dumped into the sea. This is still not a transparent process, but more so than the West, where we place it all in a colored bin and hope for the best, putting a blind faith in the powers that be and believing that we have done all we can for the earth. And yet the US reports maybe a 5% plastic recycling rate, which is just sad. Sorry. So a solution is Recycle.me. We believe that by providing belief in that knowledge of a plastic products and packaging, along with details of the local waste management systems, will facilitate educated choices at both points of purchase and the time of disposal. By understanding the plastic value chain and the local recycling options, consumers may choose to select products best suited to their local disposal systems. And to be honest, they may see how little their waste is actually sustainably reprocessed and choose non-plastic alternatives, which is my secret goal, and engage in zero waste lifestyles. So you can see a short flow of the Recycle Me app, where one can scan items on the store shelves, see information about the packaging of the local disposal options, and allow a Wikipedia of plastic detailing information on the plastics recycling methods, health concerns, and more about plastic. This knowledge base is expandable and allowing anyone to upload information about plastics and their life cycles. Back to the value chain, here's the plastic value chain in the linear economy. Make stuff, use stuff, toss stuff. And lots of money and opportunity are just thrown in the bin. And this is really seen in Asia's. So while the circular plastic value chain follows the supply chain as it's a pathway from source to use and back to resource. In order to keep the plastic value chain going, moving in a circle, value must be found at each of these points. So to close the loop in the plastic value chain, Recycle Me maps existing local waste handling environments, connecting the players at each step of the way, showing consumers where and how to dispose of plastic locally, educating the local ecosystem members where to process specific types of plastic, and facilitating the recycling centers to obtain clean waste for reprocessing. Informing each stakeholder how they may gain value from their waste passing through their hands by learning just who will pay for it. Because if you know where it goes, it just might get there. So in particular, we focus on hard to recycle and low value plastic waste, such as straws, plastic bags, multi-level packaging, Tetra Pak drink containers, etc. Much of these polymer types are not handled by any local industrial facility. So we have compiled a list of boutique recyclers or upscalers who handle these specific plastics, such as shredding Tetra Pak drink containers into roofing tiles, converting plastic bags into road surfaces, turning plastic straws into pillows, or even making prosthetic legs out of aluminum cans, and many more. Informing all the stakeholders about these facilities is a core concept of Recycle Me. Once again, if they know where it goes, it might just get there. And these are all boutique recyclers handled within the Bangkok region. So these are available to the people in our environment who want to move waste to appropriate spaces and gain value from it. So some overall impacts are educating consumers, making educated purchase choices based on the knowledge of local recycling ecosystem. Waste gets properly disposed and enter the circular plastic value chain, leading to increased recycling rates, and producers are incentivized to provide sustainable packaging alternatives by the data collected by Recycle Me on the purchase choices of the consumers. I want to also mention that the concept is to shorten the path from consumer to processing. So to do it all locally. For this helps limit the potential for leakage inevitable at each step and reduces the overall carbon footprint involved in recycling. The classic Western method had been to bundle up empty bottles and ship them across the globe until China finally had enough and blocked such imports. The Philippines were sending containers back to Canada. And of course, underground criminal outfits then sneak them back into Cambodia and Thailand, only to see much of this waste burned, dumped, or leaked into the seas. So who does Recycle Me help? Everybody. Helps consumers feel good because they're recycling, helps brands get information about consumer choices, waste pickers get clean, valuable sources of plastic, researchers get information about the local ecosystems of recycling, and municipal governments get their waste handled so less landfill is needed. And of course, the real winner is our environment, which becomes free of new plastic waste. So here are some pictures of my early prototype and focus group. They read the instructions, scanned the stuff, saw what it is, where to dispose it, and future generations were greatly amused. And that's what it really counts, is to try to create systems so that our future generations aren't left with this prolific of waste everywhere. Which leaves me with a thought question. Is there enough plastic already out there? And I think there is. I think by creating these systems where we can reuse and recycle and regenerate things from existing materials, we'll create a whole new ecosystem of petrochemical industries, going from virgin plastic production to recycling, to people cleaning up and mining the waste in the environment for value, and the earth getting cleaner. And that's the whole point, isn't it? Get rid of the plastic out there, keep it from going in there, and maybe we won't all drown in it. So thank you for having me, and I really appreciate being here with you all.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you so much. And, we see you through your profile that you are involved into multiple circular economy projects and initiatives, which speak volumes about your passion for the same. And because, I always believe that there's nothing better than having the opportunity to merge your passion with the profession, nothing like that. And you might be knowing that in Ecocivilisation also, since last year, we have been putting efforts to create an ecosystem on circular economy, in the form of a marketplace. And we have already created blueprints of the same. And so definitely 𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷, with the help of 𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷 and with the guidance of 𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷, we possibly feel that we would also be able to create a marketplace for Ecocivilisation, for all circular economy experts like you, for all passionate people, for all circular economy junkies. And definitely we would be able to contribute towards circular economy at the global level. That's what we feel. What do you say, 𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. I agree with what Violetta was saying in the beginning about, engaged collaboration and cooperation, because, I don't need to do any of this. I'm trying to because it's not there. I might, profit from it, but the point is to do the things that need to be done and leverage each other so that we can all cooperate in these greater good efforts and solve the wicked problems as they're called. And,
Definitely.
That is a global thing. A lot
Definitely.
of work with groups on the ground.
But David, what sort of support have you been getting from the local government in Thailand over here? Because you come from New York and you have made your place in the country, which is in Asia. And as you stated in the beginning of your presentation, that there are many circular economy opportunities as well as issues to solve. What kind of support have you been getting, and the kind of challenges you have faced? How did you deal with them?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting question. Thank you. I found I was listening to a seminar today, and the different panelists were doing things, and I was like, "Hey, Jack, my idea," and that's what I'm doing, or this, and then I realized, no, it doesn't matter. I don't need to do this. If somebody else is doing it, I want to work with them to, the core of Recycle Me in particular is knowledge, to try to bring this information together in one spot so that people can use it, or to, so to help facilitate all these different groups. And I find that worldwide, that's sort of what's happening in all these circular initiatives, is the players who are interested in doing things, especially in Asia, where the governments are not really providing a lot of money. They're kind of behind the times. They're maybe trying to clean up the environment so that they can build nice hotels and bring in the tourists, but they're not really thinking about the longer term implications. But the people on the ground are. And another interesting thing talked about government wise is there's in Asia, there was many people in this space who were basically European funded. So they were all, Farangs, as we're called in Thailand, foreigners, and working for European agencies or European grants who started companies there. So it's interesting now I'm back in Europe to see, where that goes. And I can see a little bit more of the government participation and funding of projects, which is great. And I guess, to finish that idea is to spread that around the world, so to speak, take the resources, whatever form they are, either they're human capital or financial, and to blend them into solutions that are truly applicable worldwide.
Thank you so much, David. Don't go anywhere because we have one more story here. Alisha is ready with her presentation, and after that we will discuss some questions, and we definitely will have a good discussion about more things. So please stay with us. Yeah. So now, last but not the least, our next panelist, Alisha Ishak Moses from Israel, who is chairwoman from Wizo, even Yehuda Israel, Women International Zionist Organization, Director Corporate Relations and International Advisory Board member at Asian Arab Chamber of Commerce, mentor for women empowerment and helping communities at need to find their strength. She has been coaching and consulting as well. Over to Alisha.
Hello, and I'm so impressed of everything I hear. I'm so little, if I compare myself to all you. First of all, it's very nice to meet you all, and I'm excited, just I thought about, I have worked for many huge companies, doing everything you're saying in Ecocivilisation and helping is making this world better. But I thought after a while, how can I take my experience, my personal experience, and try to make it accessible to the little person, the daily person who has so many goods at his home. As you know, people buy so many things today online, especially, and one point they don't have where to put everything. So in Wizo, what we do, we have about 47 thrift store, secondhand store in Israel, which the idea behind it is everyone who has something he doesn't need at home, a bed, clothes, everything, anything he doesn't need. What does he do with that? Does he just throw to the garbage? It's waste, really. And some countries, you have a waste bin, like you can put the glasses in one place, television in another place, everything, clothes and things, fabrics. In Israel, we don't have it everywhere. We are starting to do that. But still, the everyday person who doesn't hear about it from television, who doesn't have the connection to the big companies who do that in everyday work. So as a chairperson in my place, we all have Facebook. I have connection to each of one of the people in my town. And now let's say I'm working with Palestinian kids who doesn't have anything, underprivileged women who need work. They don't have the education. And how am I doing something to approach them and make them a part of this huge system of making this planet better? Because we see all the problems with the rain and the water and everything in the world. One country has too much water. The other country has no water. We have a lot of work to do if we want to correct everything. So in our store, everybody can bring whatever he doesn't need at home. If he has books, so he brings it to our store. And we have women who work in our store. Now, it's not just women. It's women over 75 who needs something to do and something interesting in their life. And it's women who need work. They have kids at home. They don't have the education. It's really the unprivileged women, really. I'm doing women empowerment with making the earth better. They all bring everything they need to our store. We take the things, we divide it to subject, anything we need, and we sell it to people low cost. Like you can buy in $1 a lot of things. Now it's you can imagine how many things we have. It's like and most of them, by the way, are brand new. So the money goes to, we donate it to kids who need help. It's like we adopted a kindergarten for kids who their parents doesn't have the means to give them good education, and we teaching them English. Not everybody, we speak Hebrew in Israel, so not everybody can speak English. We teach them English, we give them education, we give them things with the money we already took from the things other people don't need. So this is something I made it, it's a passion of mine. I grew up as a kid who didn't have much. So I know how it is not to have things. And we taken the things at the daily basis with a regular person and we recycle. So, it's not a big company or like I saw amazing things you all are doing, but this is amazing how much money we made just doing this little thing, just making everybody part of the system. And well, this I keep doing, I keep doing that every day. And because I'm also involved in women empowerment, I'm giving work to women who doesn't have an education. And as you know, today is the Nonviolence Day against women. And violence is not just, physical. A woman who doesn't have a bank account, she doesn't have a salary, she doesn't earn money. So actually, she can't make her life better. She can't leave home. If somebody is treating her not good, she can't do anything about it. It's all about earning your own salary, making the money to give to your kids. So this is all involved in one thing. And this is essentially what I do in a nutshell. And I can tell you, every one of us can do that. It makes your soul better and life even better. And we recycle every day, all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Alisha. I want to ask you one thing, that from the point of circular economy, your focus is primarily either on reusing, which contributes to reducing as well the waste, at the same time focusing on novel deeds like giving education to underprivileged, at the same time making women economically empowered, which is really great idea. I want to understand how Wizo as an organization want to take this concept ahead across the globe.
Okay, so as I told you, I also work in Israel. It's a very diversity people. You spoke about diversity. We have Arabs, we have Jews, we have Christian. Now, even us, like I'm a Jew, but my mother was born in Morocco. My father was born in India. So as you understand what you were saying, Michelle, it's well, we have it all over Israel. We are married to people who their parents came from different places of the planet. So yeah. So what I do is taking these things and transferring it to Palestinian kids. I see so many Palestinian kids who doesn't have, well, they don't have anything really. And I don't give them money, but I give them everything they need: books, clothes, furniture if they need for the house, making their life better. I go and meet them, of course. If you haven't met one kid who you understand how you help him, I mean, you need to do that. You really need to do that. Just go meet one and see how it works. And it's, well, I can't put it in the words, really. So this is something I do. And even in Israel, we have Arabs and Jews. Now, the Arabs are more where they think about, okay, if I'm taking secondhand goods, does it make me not a loser, but a less better person? I had to work with them and make them understand, no, you are doing this for the environment. You are not doing this for you. and somehow it worked, because ego is something we also have to work with. I wouldn't say men or women. I don't want to go there, but this is something we do. And in India, by the way, I've been traveling and working in India. My last visit in India last March, I found a sponsor for a low-caste village girls. And the thing now we give the girls is education, because some places are different, and some girls are getting married at 12 or something. So they need to learn to read and write. This is something very basic, but not everybody has it. So I'm trying. It's still on a progress. I'm starting to think about how making these stores there and giving unprivileged women work. They can make a living. And hopefully next time we speak, I will tell you, okay, we have 10 places like that. So this is something also I do, but it can be done everywhere. I'm sure if you just go out of your house, of your home, and you see there are so many kids and women, for me, women and people in general, who can do that every day. You just need to give them the place to do that. And if you have sponsors, and really big companies today are really happy to be part of not just recycling, but also women empowerment, helping kids. It's a very simple program. I did write the program for the things to do. You don't need a lot of money. You already had the community for a thing, because people have it in their home, and you can change the world in this little act you're doing. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Alicia, for these positive remarks. And let me go back to Michelle once again. Michelle, I wanted to understand from you now the challenges, from circular economy point of view, and your organization and your product. So how, when you are trying to integrate both of them, I'm sure there must be some challenges, and it is not always an easy road to travel. So how are you coping up? How are you mitigating those challenges? And what kind of support have you been getting from your government agencies or local agencies in and around?
Wow, it's a big one to answer. My first example that comes to mind is soy ink. I mentioned that that was real important to me in the beginning. And of course, like with our books, so it's something where the kids can open. I would love to send some to some of you. I just took a screenshot, so I'd have all your names again. But you have all of these, put it closer to me here, these words. There's 1,000 words in a book.
Mm-hmm.
They also see culture, but every time they touch, they get dozens of different native speakers pronouncing the words. Mm-hmm. So this book is American English. We made a Mexican Spanish book with UNAM, the top university of Latin America. And they're seeing their traditions and cultures. They can touch the protagonist in the book, and she explains things going on. But there's a lot of touching going on. They're touching paper. Kids are getting way too much. It's just screens with everything. It's over the top. And if you don't speak the language, like a lot of us here, I'm hearing, it's a problem. So we're helping do the talking. You no longer have an impediment. There shouldn't be an excuse to get in the way. And it's just, again, I think all of the technologies are out there. It's about putting it all together in the right way. And unfortunately, it's about money. We're raising 4.5 million right now. You need money to do good things. To be honest, we just won Startup of the Year. Someone just messaged me in Luxembourg. I see someone from Luxembourg that's joined us. Hello. But it's just when you're doing a startup, we're doing all of the work ourselves. And we're just tapped. I'm also a mother. I'm a wife. I'm super busy and I can't get to everything. So grants, it's super hard. I haven't had time to tap those things. You're saying they're out there, but to be honest, I have not had time. The one exception is we received a grant from the Luxembourgish government to apply artificial intelligence to paper. So with the book, again, I'm so sorry, it's so hard. I can't have my beautiful background and my showcasing my books at the same time. But we basically, with this book now, can have artificial intelligence allowing voice pronunciation assistants, adaptive learning, knowing each and every kid and the challenges they have to really cater the learning, and not only for the child and their families, but the teacher who's so overtaxed. I've been a teacher on 4 continents. It's everywhere a problem. So we need help, and we can help the teacher by showing them what the child knows or doesn't know, which is often hidden for a very long time with language learning. So with circular economy, bottom line is, I think it's things like this that allow us to tap and be aware and more readily access these resources that are there. It's just not always easy for us wanting to do good things, growing a company. There's just so many angles, so many, what's the word? Obstacles, challenges. Every day there's a fire we're putting out. So I think this is the beginning, what we're doing, getting to know one another and sharing this knowledge. I hear a lot of us want to do good things that we don't always know how to do. So it's about figuring it out. I think Anand said that, being creative. Yes, it's about being creative for the solutions. I think a lot of these things are out there. It's about implementation, and we have to work together is really the bottom line. We have to support one another. Does that somewhat answer the question?
Kind of. Michelle, you had one question for Anand as well. You have mentioned in chat box you wanted to ask. So can you ask him directly?
Yes, all of you really just blew me away, and no one is too small. You need to check out my recent post about if you think you're small, think of a mosquito, get in bed with a mosquito. The impact is huge. But we all make impact, now just at different levels, but even the smallest things, we don't know how we're changing a life. And I always try to keep that in mind. But not everyone was so amazing. And I just wondered, you just did a complete 180. What inspired you to go to this link, all the amazing things you're doing? What brought you on this journey? I really wanted to know that. But thanks to all of you. I would love to sit down with all of you at some point.
I really appreciate. I also have a question for you, Michelle. One word answer is nature. I think what has inspired me is the way nature works in a perfect harmony, and in an ecosystem like forest, you actually don't see any waste. Everything has a purpose and a role to play in that sort of an ecosystem. And I just feel the idea of, when I have been working on the farms, which have been practicing permaculture, I could actually see the way sustainability is weaved through the lifestyle of that individual as well. And I felt this kind of a sustainable approach needs to be in any ecosystem possible, and we can create value out of it. Value for planet and value for people and value for that ecosystem itself. So what has inspired me is places I have also traveled to, seen great work of great people. They have been inspiring, and a lot of interesting book readings on sustainability and sustainable farming practices, which are happening globally. I think all that, and I just feel that somewhere the connecting the dot gets missed and lost somewhere. And I just felt I only need to do that. So everything is already available. We just need to connect the dots. So I just had to fix the waste in the soil, which I would put in a plastic, or someone would do that and throw it or burn it. So we need to connect the logical dots. And that's why I say that to me, eco-friendly, so ecological is eco-friendly and logical. So it's so logical for me to move in this direction that makes me more eco-friendly and sustainable. So
that's great. It makes me think of, again, language and culture. To me, all things boil down to that. If we could just, you know, the cargo ships, David, going to Canada and dumping off, you know, all of our waste somewhere else. If we could just grow up learning about one another, we'd kindle more friendships and understanding. And to me, these things too, we would be more conscientious about the earth and one another. So it all goes hand in hand in my mind. And if you haven't seen Little Big Farm, it's a documentary that happens to be available on Netflix right now. If you have not seen that, all of you would value it, but it's about this amazing sustainable farm. And it's just the most, I cannot get that film out of my mind. It's been like a year since I've seen it. It's amazing. I recommend it for everyone.
Can you
Little Farm. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'll look while someone else is talking, but I think
Put it in the chat, please, Michelle.
Amazing.
We share that.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone.
So Anand, I have a question for you. And, I know that you have been extensively involved in promoting sustainability. And you have been keeping yourself updated on different issues as well. So if I ask you that the zero mission of India by 2070 and reducing its carbon intensity by 45%, I think by 2030, how would you reflect on it and how far do you think it is achievable?
Wow, it's really I don't think that it's not achievable, especially to a country like India where sunlight is available throughout the year, and the microbes work for us free of cost throughout the year. We don't have frozen seasons. So practically, if you see the fixing of biodegradable waste and carbon in the soil is practically possible throughout the year. You won't believe my farms. I practice natural organic farming almost on 100 acres of land now. And every acre consumes more than 25 to 30 metric tons of biodegradable waste on its surface, along with the great farming. And my organic carbon content of the soil has increased phenomenally in last 6 to 7 years by fixing the waste in the soil. And imagine this is possible across our in Indian country because of the weather, kind of a weather we have, more of a tropical weather where microbial activity is very good. So I believe, and that's again one way of understanding nature, its principles, and connecting to solving our problems. That's what I feel we need to work on. And achieving targets, if you really ask, more and more awareness in smaller ecosystems and success studies we can build. And there are a few very interesting case studies getting created in India because of the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of Clean India campaign, which has been aggressively growing. A lot of people are taking interest in recycling, upcycling. So many eco-entrepreneurs out of the Startup India mission have born. And see, I myself working with 25 plus eco-entrepreneurs right now doing interesting work. So I do see that it will happen, but not by 2070. I still feel it will happen before that, because see, there is one more larger issue of usage of fossil fuel in the transport. And that's where a lot of right now issues are addressed. To go net zero, that issue also needs to be addressed very well. And I think government is working very proactively on electric vehicles and hydrogen fuel cell technologies and many other things. That's not my really expert area, but what I can see is every manufacturing sector or every rural sector or every urban community can definitely go net zero. I will like to commend my warehouse is getting audited for a net zero warehousing system. And I hope in a month or 2 months time, I will be able to share that how an entire net zero ecosystem, industrial ecosystem can function with a lot more stronger data points in hand, because the audit is very rigorous. So we have to upgrade on few systems, and it is possible. So if a smaller, very tiny manufacturer for a huge ecosystem like India can take a step forward, try to achieve this, it's very much possible that as a country at large, these things will happen. We are creating, just for an information, we are trying to create net zero cities through net zero communities. It's a center of excellence we are trying to create. We are deep diving in the thought process that what an urban community's practices can be adopted, used in day-to-day life, and we move more closer towards net zero. We will train and make people aware about going net zero. What net zero is also many people are not aware about today. So a lot of awareness needs to be built told we need to tell simple tools and technologies, economics behind it, and benefit behind it. When people will see clear economic benefit behind it, people will adopt it. And my entire focus being an entrepreneur is that let's prove economical benefit and of course environmental benefit towards the activity we do. I think the target we will definitely achieve. And I myself will dedicate my foundation's work, my work, to make sure that we at large achieve it. So I like to play an active role in achieving net zero India.
Yeah, totally agree, Anand. And Violeta, would you like to ask or say anything regarding today's presentations, or do you have any question in your head?
Well, Donna asked first, so I will give Donna a head start, and then I'll come after her. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. And you can't even see me. I'm trying to think why you can't actually see me, but okay, I will jump up.
We can hear you clearly, Donna. Yeah.
Okay. Now I can see you all. It's wonderful to see you here. There were no emojis or anything. Otherwise, I would have been cheering, jumping up and down, and excited to hear all the things that you were all sharing. And really, it's kind of question, comment, but more, I think we're all looking for ways that we can build on the good work that's being done. And recognizing that the journeys that you've been on have taken a long time, just even to get, in some cases, to get to this place in a world where we're looking for ways that we can amplify and accelerate some of the pace in a way that is very aligned with regenerative principles, that stays true to all the things that we're about here. But at the same time, when we look at the world that's in a world of trouble, if there's ways that we can build some bridges across regions and initiatives, and Violeta, you know this, I mean, that is the work that we're busy underway with at Institution, is to bring these initiatives into coalition efforts to engage in collaborative impact, coalitions, learning exchange, and research, collaborative research, so that there can be some cross learnings and patterns that would help to build on this. So if we can look for ways, that's why I put that question in the chat for Anand earlier. It's really to build on the good work there, and there probably isn't much time here to explore that, but we would sure be keen to explore those opportunities with you.
2 thumbs up.
Okay. Sounds good. I wasn't able to share some things in the chat, but we can follow up from this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Okay, I guess it's my turn now. So just a quick question, because we could have an endless debate on that. But David, first, maybe a quick one for you. How spread this barcode is, and what is your vision of getting it out there? Maybe even in the form of a toy that the kids can use and things like that. It's an amazing concept, because it's true, people are confused. With recycling still. I'm confused sometimes because it's not well marked. And also we see now that many countries just decided to start, putting all the waste together again. So can this kind of barcode save a little bit or maybe increase the discipline?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Good question for Anand as well.
Yeah, thank you. This does bring up some interesting issues with expansion and localization, because in my case, especially in the Bangkok sort of waste management ecosystem, try to get my hands away from the camera, is that it's very locally managed. It's, the people on the street are picking through the trash and taking and as in Asia compared to the West, things have value. Things are reused. People fix things. They take and try to keep them going. And waste has value, so they go around and they pick up the waste and they they take it to somewhere where they can get some money from it, and that guy takes it somewhere where he can get some money from it, and lo and behold, hopefully it gets reprocessed. As I was mentioning, even the municipalities, the guys driving the truck, hide in the alley and pull out all the stuff they can sell. And so in that case, this initiative is very hyper local. It's very localized. So in order to expand that, you got to go to a different city in Thailand, for instance, to find out what the local ecosystem is there, and move along in that way. But it also, the knowledge of this so far is sort of hand built to say, oh, a Coke bottle, it has this kind of, some Coke bottles are made from recycled materials, some aren't, some have flame retardants in them that, you don't really want to make into food grade again, et cetera. There's a specific knowledge that needs to happen. And then there's, strange plastics, like my little mint container, it's like, it's plastic, isn't it? Can't give what? I don't know. So if there was a little label on it, not just a little barcode, but consumer labels, and that is sort of turned into a global initiative. So we need standards, globally to be able to understand this stuff and define what to put in it. I see in Europe that they're making requirements that so much recycled material has to be, put back into it, and then extended producer responsibility kind of ideas that you have to be able to buy it back, in which case you probably want to do something with it. So, you get these multi-layered chip things that are kind of hard to handle and not really going to be managed. But if there were better standards on manufacturing these kinds of things in across the world, it would be more understandable. And I've been working with some consumer information bureau to be able to get eco labels or green labeling. And then I believe particularly as materials go, not just the contents, but the packaging as well. So I was thinking, one of the things, think globally, act locally. But it's also, finance globally and apply locally, and really spread the word on that. Hope that answers the question.
Cool, great, thanks. So now, Anand, now I will ask you, can you see India and Africa probably are really highly penetrated with mobile phones? Do you think you can speed up the awareness in India by using something like this, that people can, like a quote on the products? Can you find any use of what just David was sharing in your endless sort of circular and regenerative modeling?
So your question is, can I use something which is happening in Africa in my...
No. If David's solution with a high level of mobile penetration in India can be used in India to speed up the recycling and help people to recycle better and more correctly.
Oh yeah, if you ask me, I feel that the borders are coming closer and closer. The trade is very global. The sharing happens very global. I have been actually seeing a lot of work happening in Africa on the web, interesting work on recycling, also a lot of work on human waste, which has been happening there. And I think the lot of principles used there can be used in our ecosystem here.
What about David? What about this? What David presented? These codes? Do you think the barcodes could enhance the level?
And I had few things to take up with David on the same principles, that how, because it's a tech based, to me technology would be at forefront when we want to bring the change, and IT will play large role. IT technology will play very large role if we use it very correctly, because we can spread very fast. The reason I want to quickly come up with the app of the green directory is the same, that it is accessible to all over in Indian citizens. But if I have only books with me, then I have to keep printing and reaching out to people. So let's use the technology lot more constructive way. And with David, I'm sure it will be a time that I'll be interacting with him very soon on how things could be utilized here. Yes. And I don't think to make
Good.
things sustainable, we need to reinvent everything. We can just collaborate. We can just partner and work together. So
Yeah, right on.
Super.
I believe that is
question I had,
coalition of the willing, so to speak. You know, I think we need
I
stop waiting
could
for.
not
I
see
know
the
Anand and I are talking about our garlic paper already here together.
Yeah, see, this one is actually a paper, and we are also checking if the ink is getting blurred. But no, the ink is also getting printed well.
It's stinky.
There are
it's
two, three.
stinky.
There are a few textures also we are trying to develop. This is 100% garlic peel and onion peel.
Can you eat those?
How does it smell?
Then
It
who
kicks
will
them
buy?
type of
Then who
good.
will buy my spices?
But that's
Okay, one
exactly,
quick one.
That,
A
that's
quick
exactly.
one to a
No, go
quick one
ahead.
to Michelle is I don't know if everyone could see, but I could not see a book clearly because it was half below the screen. So if you can show the book, how it looks.
Anna, you will get the whole book. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
No. I mean, I'm just kidding. We can. I mean, if it is possible, yeah.
It's all over the world on Amazon. Amazon's one of our partners. So you can probably get it in India.
Okay.
But if you, zoot.
Yeah, turn it back.
Okay, I don't want you to see my house. It's a little bit scary right now, but yes. If you go to the website, 𝐀𝐥𝐢𝐬𝐚 you'll be able to see all kinds of goodies. And I'm on
Maybe you
LinkedIn
can
as
put the
well.
website in the chat and they can just click and that would be great.
But it's just real books. It's We Marry the Best of Culture with.
No, one more Netflix film has inspired me, and I think it's worth watching. Is Kiss the Ground. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but it's amazing. Just it has blown me away the way data has been presented creatively there. So
It's about the circular economy as well.
it's about regenerative and carbon fixing, and it's just too good. Yeah.
Okay, so Natasha, do we have any more questions for our panelists today?
I don't see any new.
Okay. So,
May I
Walita,
raise one more? I have one more
please,
question.
we have time. Yeah.
Because in order to do the scalability, and it's a question for all of you, what kind of approach do you use in order to raise the spiritual level of people to be able then to join and co-create with you? Are you just growing organically and wait that people pick it up? Or do you do something in order to, like we've seen that you do, Anand, something with farmers, but what about consumer side? What about partners?
So the eco malls are one of the small effort has been taken to bridge producer to consumers, and step-by-step awareness is getting spreaded. Important thing is there is a notion in consumers' mind when it is organic, sustainable, it is expensive. But to me, actually, if it is sustainable and organic, it is supposed to be competitive. And I have been trying to create that sort of a reality in front of people, and there are more than good 800 plus families coming and buying, and more than 20-25 farmers we've been able to help. But this is too small. I think we need a larger platform or co-creation where this becomes like a trend. I want it to become a glamorous and equally fashionable trend for farmers in India, that they do this and consumers are just waiting for them. So what you said is absolutely true, that it is, and that's the reason I said eco entrepreneurs are struggling today. It is not easy to survive because the market is not yet matured in our city. I can see that. So we need to really work more hard on that. And efforts are there. There are a lot of weekly markets concept which have started. So a lot of farmers who are growing sustainably, they come on the weekly market and consumers from different area are going to them and eco entrepreneurs are doing. But again, Violeta, my feeling is tech-driven solutions may play much more vital role for this. That, for example, we have a green e-commerce, sustainable e-commerce platform where all those products are traded, sold. Then there is a marketplace which will get created. And these are some interesting projects in my mind for times to come that I would really like to work on.
Anand, let's do it together, because Ecocivilisation cannot do it as fast as we could do it with partners. So let's
Yeah.
create this market finally, because we've been talking about now for 2 years, but let's do it.
Yes, let's
try. Let's put the project forward, which is a collaboration of all of you, and let's design it and let's run it. I mean, this is great because it's really, time is now evolving so fast. I mean, the dynamics, which somebody will have to do it. And this discussion really needs.
We will explore that. Yes.
Okay, super.
Yeah, if I can say, I think it comes down to scale and exposure in that realm. To once it gains momentum and reaches the tipping point, it starts to break out into popular culture, popular environments, I think. And then the cachet of having a sustainable business or a sustainable product will be, it's not just a niche market, and it's not just an expensive market. It's overall. And then why would I choose one product over the other for the same? If I get the bio or the sustainable.
Well, I have an opinion on why.
Please.
Which is why we've kind of used the strategy I have, and I think soon we'll know if it's panning out. Right now, it looks like it is, but I think the reality is that we're really in a shallow world. If we look at the kind of people we're electing to represent us, we've got a lot of problems, and I think people listen, unfortunately, to celebrity, influencers, all of these things, and Violeta, you mentioned time. So it's so hard working with celebrities. It is just a very painful process, but I do have people who care about what I'm doing. They truly care. The very top, best in their fields, producer of Lady Gaga, this kind of thing. But I think that I do think when you have splashed on there, because we're so caught up in these wrong things, that people listen. So it's so important to find someone that is a celebrity and cares about your cause, and then the normal, the John Does out there, they'll listen, they'll look. So unfortunately, that's my opinion. Startup life the last 5 years has taught me this. I used to be so positive, but please tell me I'm wrong.
Well,
Okay.
I think if you have the passion, people will follow you. You are a celebrity, come on. Yeah, but if you have the passion, and people will follow you, and like I said, you can do great things. I know funding is the thing. We need money to do more things. So like, I make the funding for myself. So, but I think if you have the passion, people will follow you. They will see, and when they see what you do, what the things, like I said, what they bring to us, and they see in the end of the line, there is a kid who's enjoying what they bought in the store and wanted to throw just to the garbage. It works. It takes time and persuasion, but I think it can work, really.
As all good things should, I suppose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Lovely. So with this, we proceed towards wrapping up our session.
Donna has also the hand up, Rajni.
Okay.
I'll be brief, and I've purposely tried to be brief because I know there's so much richness of what you want to share here, and you've opened up the door to a whole lot of other conversations. The subject of funding is a key one. We have nearly 8 billion people on planet Earth. We've got to find ways of empowering, unleashing the amazing creativity and power of everybody. And I think you've all talked to those examples. So part of the purpose around building the coalitions is to make it possible for some of these smaller initiatives to come together and to pool the knowledge, the skills, the learning, the resources, and frankly, the funding. Because one of the problems is funding is not flowing to the little things, it's flowing to the big bang stuff that isn't even going to make enough of a difference. So that's why we are so focused on the collaborative coalition work and the learning deeper ways of collaborating beyond what we're doing in our own local area. But what I really love about what everything's been said here is, of course, it has to happen on the ground locally where people live in their own backyards. It's not going to come on from on high globally, and yet we are in this one world, so we're all looking for ways that we can join it up. So that was, the thing. And it's a learning journey as human beings. So I hear what you're saying, Michelle, around wanting and needing to have those people that people pay attention to in this noisy world with, difficulty of making sense and stuff. But I also see some danger in us relying too heavily on those people in those roles, because it doesn't help to for people to be in touch with their own agency. And so it's how do we unleash that sense of we can do this, and the collective agency when people start to come together that you've all been experiencing yourself, but we need more of it, right? Way beyond. And you've just scratched the surface, and now that you're deeply into this, you're seeing way more opportunity. And no doubt get really frustrated and blocked because it's really hard to do this in the current world with the current systems. And it is changing. Everything that Violetta has been saying, we've had many of these conversations. And I'll stop there. Violetta's been with me lots of times. I'm the and I'm always going and stuff, and I get passionate. But we're right at the end, and so I should turn it over to you, but Rajni. But thanks for listening.
What an inspiration you are.
Okay, I see a lot of mutual appreciation and respect here, which is really good to see. I'm really pleased to see how this session has become so much packed with knowledge and interactive and full of positive energy.
And good
It's a good
films
sign.
for tomorrow night.
So let me also take this opportunity to thank all our contributors and supporters for sharing their wisdom with us through their inspiring stories for our publication. The book is available to read on Ecocivilisation website. And we also thank our participants for their active participation, interest, and time. And once again, thank you so much, Michelle, Anand, David, Eliza, for such wonderful presentation. More than that, the fabulous work that you have been doing in your countries. That's more important. Yeah. And don't forget to send your address, right address to us so that we could send you the book. And thank you again all for joining us today's session, and we'll definitely see you next time. Thank you so much.
This
and
has been actually my first time to speak with all these international audiences. And thank you so much to Ecocivilisation to give this opportunity and understand so many different perspectives and work happening at global level. So really inspired to do more from today's session, and congratulations for this wonderful circular economy handbook which has come out. I think it's need of an hour. So great to know each and every one of you.
Very pleased to hear it, Anand, because I know that your schedule is always very tight and it is very hard to catch you, but I'm pleased that you could take time to participate in Ecocivilisation webinar and could make it so interactive. Thank you so much, Anand. Thank you so much, all the panelists, and we hope to see so many positive things coming in future, so many collaboration and association. Thank you so much.